Subscribe to Dr. Khalkar's Classroom channel and press the bell icon to get latest updates. Hello everyone, I hope you are doing great. In my previous lecture video, I have discussed about particle enclosed in infinitely deep potential well and particle in finite potential well. In this lecture video, I will discuss about tunneling effect. So let's get started. The content of this lecture video is as follows. First of all, I will give introduction of tunneling effect. Then I will explain what is stationary state, range of motion of a particle, energy eigenvalues and eigenstates, the eigenstates of a harmonic oscillator, penetration or transmission coefficient, and finally I will discuss about probability of a particle tunneling through a potential energy barrier. Quantum tunneling or tunneling refers to quantum mechanical phenomena where a particle tunnels through a barrier that is classically could not be surmounted. This plays an essential role in several physical phenomena such as alpha decay and the nuclear fusion that occurs in main sequence stars like the Sun. It has important applications to modern devices such as the tunneling diode, quantum computing, and the scanning tunneling microscope. Tunneling is often explained using the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and wave-particle duality of matter. Pure quantum mechanical concepts are central to the phenomena. So quantum tunneling is one of the novel applications of quantum mechanics. Quantum tunneling falls under the domain of quantum mechanics, the study of which happens at quantum scale. This process cannot be directly perceived, but much of its understanding is shaped by the microscopic world, which classical mechanics cannot adequately explain. To understand the quantum tunneling phenomena, particles attempting to travel between potential barriers can be compared to a ball trying to roll over a hill as shown in this diagram. Quantum mechanics and classical mechanics differs in their treatment of the scenario. Classical mechanics predicts that particles that do not have enough energy to classically surmount a barrier will not be able to reach the other side. Thus, a ball without sufficient energy to surmount the hill would roll back down, or lacking the energy to penetrate a wall, it would bounce back, or in an extreme case, bury itself inside the wall, that is the absorption. Therefore, in quantum mechanics, these particles can, with a very small probability, tunnel to the other side, thus crossing the barrier. Here the ball could, in a sense, borrow energy from its surroundings to tunnel through the wall or the roll over the hill, paying it back by making the reflected electrons more energetic than they otherwise would have been. So as shown in this diagram, the comparison of classical phenomena and the quantum phenomena of tunneling effect is shown. So this is the comparison of classical physics and quantum physics in terms of the tunneling effect. We studied in the preceding lectures that the probability density that a particle will be found in equal to the square of the absolute value of the wave function. An experimental evidence of the validity of the above interpretation was given by Gamo's explanation on the alpha decay of atomic nuclei. So this explanation we will see in detail in the later lecture videos. The alpha decay of atomic nuclei could be explained by a strange phenomena called tunneling effect. This was an effect inconceivable in classical theory. Let us learn it, the state in quantum mechanics. Before getting into the main point of the tunneling effect, let us explain the concept of state in quantum mechanics. It is a basic concept by which all the informations on the dynamical system under consideration, example, the energy and the momentum distributions of the system, the probability density of the particles in the system and so on can be obtained. All of these informations about the system under consideration must be contained in the wave function, so that the wave function is sometimes called the state function. So let's see in detail what is a state function for stationary state. Let us consider a one-dimensional space for simplicity. The wave function of a free particle, the Schrodinger's equation, can be written as psi of x is equal to exponential of I in bracket px minus et bracket complete divided by h bar. Let's say this is equation number 1. This is a state with a constant energy E. Thereby, we can consider that a wave function whose time factor is a state of a constant energy E. Let us assume that the wave function to be psi of xt is equal to psi of x into exponential of minus I e t divided by h bar. Let's say this is equation number 2. As discussed above, this state is of a constant energy E. Putting this into the Schrodinger equation, we can write I h bar diaba psi by diaba t is equal to minus h bar square upon twice m into diaba square psi by diaba x square plus v of x into psi. Let's say this is equation number 3. We have a differential equation independent of time t as minus h bar square divided by 2m into d square psi by dx square plus v of x psi is equal to e psi. Let's say this is equation number 4. This equation number 4 determines the spatial part psi of x of the wave function. The above equation is named the time-independent Schrodinger's equation, which we have already discussed in our previous lecture videos. In this state presented by the wave function of the form of equation number 2, the probability density of the particle is written as capital P of xt is equal to psi of xt mod square is equal to psi of x mod square. Let's say this is equation number 5. Because this probability is independent of time, we just avoided the term t. This state is called as a stationary state because as we have not considered the time parameter, which is just what we have made in Bohr's old quantum theory. The ground state and the excited states of the hydrogen atom are of types of states. These are the examples for that. Now let's see the range of motion of a particle classical mechanically. The figure number 2, let us see the vibration of a spring or a harmonic oscillator as shown in figure number 2. Suppose that a mass m is attached to the spring and neglect the mass of the spring itself. Suppose that an x-axis is arranged in the direction of the motion of the oscillator. Let us the position of the natural length of the spring be x is equal to 0. When an energy capital E is given by the mass m, it oscillates with a range between the lower bound capital A and the upper bound capital B as shown in figure. Capital O is a equilibrium point, whereas the range of oscillations is shown with the blue double head arrow. For the diagram number 2, that is vibrations of a spring or a harmonic oscillators, let's see the energies of the oscillator as shown in this diagram number 3. In diagram number 3, the blue colored part denotes the potential wall. The particle motion is confined to the inner part of the potential, that is the outside of the wall. The particle with energy capital E is reflected by the potential wall and repeats a back and forth motion between capital A and capital B point on the x-axis. When the spring is extended by x from the equilibrium position, that is the natural length, then the force exerted on the mass is minus kx, where k is the spring constant. At this point, the potential energy of the oscillator can be written as half kx square. Let's say this is equation number 6. Therefore, the total energy of the spring that is capital E, is the sum of the kinetic energy and the potential energy. Therefore, capital E is equal to half mv square plus half kx square. Let's say this is equation number 7. For a given energy E, the possible range of the oscillation is as follows. Capital E is greater than and equal to half mu square minus under root of 2E upon k is greater than equal to x and is greater than equal to under root of 2E upon k. This is the range between capital A and capital B on the x-axis as shown in this diagram. Now let us discuss about energy, eigenvalues and eigenstates. Let us treat the same oscillator motion as discussed above in the quantum mechanics. The quantum mechanical state of motion is determined by the solutions of the Schrodinger's equation, that is equation number 4, which we have already discussed previously. In the present case, it becomes the following differential equation, that is minus h bar square upon 2m into d square psi by dx square plus half kx square into psi is equal to E psi. Let's denote this equation number 9. The square of the absolute value of the wave function, that is psi mod square, denotes the probability density where the particle will be detected, so that psi mod square must be finite over all the region of X. In order that the wave function psi mod square satisfy the condition, the corresponding energy E should be restricted to some specialized values. While the energy E can take a continuous value in classical mechanics, it cannot be so in quantum mechanics. The allowed energy in quantum mechanics is not continuous but discrete, that is this step-like. Such discrete energies are called the eigenvalues, and the corresponding states are called as eigenstates. We should pay attention to the reason why such eigenstates with the discrete energy eigenvalues occurs. The reason is that the particle motion accompanies the wave function. That is just due to the particle wave duality. The requirement of fitness and the continuity of the wave function brings upon the discrete energy eigenvalues. This property is never obtained in the classical mechanics, and it is a surprising result. Therefore, namely the stationary state in Bohr's old quantum theory can be derived just from a double nature of electrons. The energy eigenvalues of a harmonic oscillator is given by capital E is equal to h bar omega in bracket n plus half. Let's say this is equation number 10, where omega is equal to under root of k upon m and small n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. The allowed n is 0 or positive integer. These results are shown in the form of the energy levels in diagram number 4. The energy levels are equidistant and are separated by an energy value delta E is equal to h bar omega. In figure 4, the eigenstates of a harmonic oscillators are shown. The eigenvalues obtained by solving the Schrodinger's equation, that is equation number 9, which are denoted by the horizontal lines, that is the levels. The solid red colored curves shows the corresponding wave equations. Therefore, for the n is equal to 0 as shown in this diagram, the energy is E0 is equal to half h bar omega. That is the ground state. For the first excited state, n is equal to 1, the energy value E1 is equal to 3 by 2 h bar omega. For the second excited state, that is n is equal to 2, E2 is equal to 5 by 2 h bar omega. Therefore, in this figure number 4, the ground state n is equal to 0 is denoted by the symbol 0, and the excited states n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. In the case of harmonic oscillator, the energy levels, that is horizontal lines in this figure, are at equal intervals. This is a distinctive feature of harmonic oscillator. The thick solid curves in figure shows the wave function psi x corresponding to the each energy eigenvalues. These results have been obtained by solving the Schrodinger's equation number 9. It can be solved analytically, but it is a somewhat tedious to explain how to solve it, so that we omit here in that part. If you want to study the details, refer to some other textbooks or quantum mechanics, any books, so you will get the detailed information about that. But as far as our syllabus is concerned, we restrict ourselves to the explanation up to this point only. Now let's see the range of motion of a particle quantum mechanically. In classical mechanics, the particle motion is confined to the inner part of the potential, as shown in figure number 3. The particle cannot penetrate into the potential wall in classical mechanics. That is, the range of the particle motion in classical mechanics is just from capital A to capital B, as shown in figure 3. However, the situation in quantum mechanics is different. In figure 4, the wave function corresponding to each eigenstate goes beyond the limits in classical mechanics and it penetrates into the potential wall. This means that there is a probability that the particle will be found inside the potential wall. This is a surprising fact that we cannot imagine in classical mechanics. Hence, quantum mechanics is important to study such phenomena. Now see what is actual tunneling effect. As discussed before, a particle can penetrate into a potential wall. We then suppose that a particle might pass through a potential wall or a barrier. That is true. This strange phenomena is called tunnel effect. The wave function of a free particle written as psi1 of xt is equal to capital A into exponential of small I in bracket px minus capital E into t bracket complete divided by h bar. Let's say this is equation number 11, where capital A is a constant, which is a wave going to positive direction on a x-axis with a energy E, that is a right going wave, and the wave function psi2 of xt is equal to capital B into exponential of small I in bracket minus px minus et bracket complete divided by h bar. Let's say this is equation number 12, where capital B is a constant. This is a left going wave with the same energy. Diagrammatically, let's see how this phenomena is happening. Let us consider a potential barrier as shown in figure number 5 and figure number 6. Suppose that an incident particle with energy E coming from the left collide to the potential barrier. The energy E is assumed to be lower than the top of the barrier. In the classical mechanics, the particle is completely reflected by the potential barrier. And in quantum mechanics, some probability will be reflected, but the other penetrates the barrier and pass through into the right hand side region to proceed to the far right. This is the tunnel effect. Now let's see the penetration coefficient of tunneling effect. In order to estimate the rate of the probability that penetrates the potential barrier, let us assume a simple square potential as shown in figure number 6. Here, let the width of the square potential be a small a and the height is capital V0. The wave function psi of xt in the region on the left hand side of the barrier is a superposition of the incident wave as equation number 11 and the reflected wave equation, that is equation number 12, that is psi of xt is equal to capital A into exponential of I px minus et divided by h bar plus capital B into exponential of I in bracket minus px minus et divided by h bar. Let's say this is equation number 13. Contrarily, the wave function, that is capital phi of xt on the right hand side of the barrier consists only of the penetrated wave, as capital phi of xt is equal to capital C into exponential of I in bracket px minus Et divided by h bar. Let's say this is equation number 14, where capital C is a constant. So solving the Schrodinger's equation, we can determine the constants A, B and C. Therefore, we can get A mod square is equal to B mod square plus C mod square. Let's say this is equation number 15. The quantity A mod square denotes the intensity of the incident wave, and the B mod square and C mod square denotes the intensities of the reflected and transmitted waves respectively. The above equation, or the relation number 15, means therefore that the sum of the probabilities and the reflected particles and the transmitted particles is equal to 100%. This is nothing but the conservation of probability. Therefore, the penetration coefficient or the transmission coefficient is given by penetration coefficient is equal to C mod square upon A mod square. That is equal to, in square bracket, 1 plus V0 square sin H square Ka divided by 4E in bracket V0 minus E square bracket complete. Let's say this is equation number 16, where capital K is equal to under root of 2m in bracket V0 minus E divided by h bar, and the function sin hx can be written as this is equal to exponential of x minus exponential of minus x divided by 2. Let's say these equations 17 and 18. So this is called as the hyperbolic sine function, which is equation number 18. Now let's see the conditions for quantum tunneling. For a quantum particle to appreciably tunnel through a barrier, three conditions must be met. That conditions are: the height of the barrier must be finite and the thickness of the barrier should be thin. The potential energy of the barrier exceeds the kinetic energy of the particle, that is capital E must be less than capital V. The particle has wave properties because the wave function is able to penetrate through the barrier. This suggests that the quantum tunneling only apply to microscopic objects such as protons or electrons and does not apply to the macroscopic objects. If these conditions are met, there would be some probability of finding the particles on the other side of the barrier. Beginning as a sinusoidal wave, a particle begins tunneling through the barrier and goes into exponential decay until it exits the barrier and gets transmitted out the other side as a final sinusoidal wave with a smaller amplitude. Figure number 7, the act of tunneling decreases the wave amplitude due to the reflection of the incident wave when it comes into the contact with the barrier but does not affect the wave equation. The quantum tunneling through a barrier at the origin x is equal to 0, there is a very high but narrow potential barrier. A significant tunneling effect can be seen in this animated figure. Figure 8 shows a simulation of a wave packet incident on a potential barrier. In relative units, the barrier energy is 20, greater than the mean wave packet energy of 14. A portion of the wave packet passes through the barrier is shown in this diagram. The real part of the wave function psi is shown in blue color, whereas the imaginary part of the wave function psi is shown in the red color. Whereas the potential of the wall is shown in the green color, whereas the purple color shows the range of the energy. Therefore, the probability capital P of a particle tunneling through a potential energy barrier is derived from the Schrodinger's equation and is described as capital P is equal to exponential of in bracket minus 4 small a pi upon h into under root of 2m in bracket capital V minus capital E bracket complete whole bracket complete, with capital E is less than capital V. Let's say this is equation number 19, where capital V is a potential barrier, capital E is the kinetic energy possessed by the particle, and a small a is the thickness of the barrier. Small m is mass of the particle and h is the Planck's constant, whose value is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 meter square kilogram per second. Therefore, the probability of an object tunneling through a barrier decreases with the object's increasing mass and with the increasing gap between the energy of the object and the energy of the barrier. And although the wave function never quite reaches zero, as can be determined from the functionality, this explains how tunneling is frequent on nanoscale but negligible at the macroscopic level. Equation number 19 argues that the probability of tunneling decreases exponentially with the square root of the particle mass. That is, particles with a small mass can effectively tunnel through the barriers more easily than those with the larger mass. And the thickness of the barrier is a small a. So, an example of the experimental evidence of tunneling effect is the alpha decay of atomic nuclei. So, this alpha decay of atomic nuclei we will see in detail in next lecture video. Meanwhile, let's see a numerical based on the tunneling effect. So, let's see the example. An electron having total kinetic energy capital E of 4.50 electron volt approaches a rectangular energy barrier with potential capital V is equal to 5 electron volt and length 950 picometer. Classically, the electron cannot pass through the barrier because capital E is less than capital V. Therefore, calculate the probability of tunneling of this electron through the barrier. So let's see the solution for this problem. Probability capital P is equal to exponential of in bracket minus 4a pi divided by h into under root of 2m in bracket capital V minus capital E, bracket complete. The electron volt is a unit of energy that is equal to approximately 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 of joule, which is the conversion used below. The mass of an electron is 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. Therefore, capital P is equal to exponential of 4 into 950 into 10 raised to minus 12 meter into pi divided by 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34, that is the Planck's constant, into under root of 2 into mass 9.11 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram into potential 5 minus energy 4.5 electron volt into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 joule per, that is the electron volt. So bracket complete. So after calculating this, we will get exponential of minus 6.88. So after solving this, probability is equal to 1.03 into 10 raised to minus 3. There is a nearly 0.1% probability of the electrons tunneling through the barrier. So this is the one example of tunneling effect. This is all about tunneling effect. In my next lecture video, I will explain about the applications of tunneling effect, which are alpha decay, tunnel diode, scanning tunneling microscope, and quantum computing. So please don't miss my next lecture video. Thank you. Below this video, in the description, the link of important information related to this video is given. Please go through it. Please like and share this video and subscribe to Dr. Khalkar's Classroom channel to get the notifications about my upcoming videos. Thank you.